Well, Delane, there was one other thing I wanted to ask you was one of the community events that happens every year is the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And I know I asked you at the parade this year, I was curious, how did this parade get started here in Portland?
Okay. O'Leary Squire and her husband Bob moved here and moved into a trailer house that was up there by the telephone company.
The place that you first saw the view from that said,
Yes.
I want to live here.
Yes, yes.
I'll remember that.
Yes, and a couple have moved in this mobile home there.
Yeah.
And then that couple were friends of the Squires, and they wanted to move into Tucson near the doctor,
Yeah.
and so they sold this place to the Squires. Yeah. Well, O'Leary was from Boston, and she was Irish.
Irish, with a name like O'Leary.
Yes, and O'Leary was rather dramatic and entertaining, and so Penny and I and O'Leary were somewhere, and O'Leary said, you know, there's always been a St. Patrick's Day parade everywhere I've ever been. And here it is, St. Patrick's Day, and I have not got a parade. And so we know what, she would have done. You go to City Hall and say, I want a parade, and the town produces one. So we said to her, O'Leary, there's no City Hall here, And in Portal, if you want it, you make it. So she said, okay, how do we do that? So she and Penny.
What was Penny's last name?
Johnston.
Okay.
She and Penny and I decided, okay, we can make a parade. And then we began to brainstorm, and we'll have an honorary mayor, and we'll do this and that and something else. And then we got the first one together. The community was agreeable. And the first one we had was, it happened that St. Patrick's Day, the 17th, fell on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And Pat Willie had been born on St. Patrick's Day. That's why his name was Patrick.
Oh.
And so Jeannie Williams said, I'll make him a birthday cake. So that's how the refreshments started down there in the library. Yeah. And we still have them in the library. And so the first parade had a couple of llamas in it that belonged to what is their name? Marge and Bob Fagan.
Fagan, yeah.
And so we had to put them in Penny's yard. So there's where we met to get started on the parade. And that first year, we made a mitre for St. Patrick, and we were trying to think what to do for a robe.
Yeah.
And so Larry said, somebody gave me this green tablecloth with white lace on the edge. I don't know what else we've got. We can use that. To this day, we still use O'Leary's white lace-edged green tablecloth for the robe for the St. Patrick.
Do you remember who the first St. Patrick was, by any chance?
I don't.
Or the first mayor?
The first mayor were two people. We picked Bob Burns from, Bill Burns from Paradise, and who was the one down here from Portal? I don't know, we had two guys. Yeah. And then we would alternate it, a woman, a man, a woman, a man.
So the tradition's always been, well, at that time, you started the tradition that the women that organized the parade picked who the mayor was.
Yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm the only one left. Penny has died and O'Leary has died.
Right.
So
But who picks the mayor?
an unnamed person and I picked the mayor.
Oh, okay. The secret person in
Yes.
you. I didn't know.
Yes. And a funny thing, many funny things happened about that parade. When Renee was St. Patrick, and we have the beard and we have the mitre and we have a
Staff? Is it
staff.
called? Yeah.
And the staff used to have a golden apple on the top.
Yeah.
And Yvette Rahurik gave that to us. Some student had given it to her, and she gave it so we'd have something on the staff. Well, it's supposed to be a shepherd's crook looking thing. But anyhow, Renee was a St. Patrick, and a little girl about 4 came up to him and said, "Are you God?"
Oh.
"I don't think so. I don't think," she said. "I think he would be bigger than you or littler than you, but not the same size." I love that. I love that. And another thing that happened was I always ran the parade because Penny and O'Leary were better about picking up people to be the mayor and thinking of those things.
And so you were more organized.
So I was the one trying to line them up and
Yeah.
keep them apart from each other and all of that. So it was a pretty bossy job. And I remember Ray Mendez.
Mendez. Yeah.
Ray was going to ride his horse in the parade that year because he had a horse that on command would bow. And so he was going to ride his horse. And I was lining people up out there on the road in front of Penny's yard. And I was telling him where he was going to be in the parade. And he said, "Why are you bossing me?" And I said, "I don't know. I always have." So then he was always respectful when he found out I ran the parade. But some other things happened about that parade. When we had the centennial, the 100-year centennial for Arizona, they were going to, they made life-size figures. They were cutouts on cardboard of some important people who started Arizona. And so they were letting libraries have these. And so they thought some smaller libraries, besides just the ones in towns, should get them. So they said, us. And so we said, "Oh, why did you let Portal, instead of Bowie or San Simon or other places?"
Some bigger places than here.
They said, "Because you have a mayor." We didn't tell them it was honorary.
Yeah.
So that was how the mayor.
You remember the parade's been going on for quite a few years. Do you
I
remember?
think 26.
That's what I was thinking. It
Yes,
was
I think we checked that out this year.
Yeah.
And it was 26.
So that's great. Yeah, it still
That
goes
is
on.
great.
Oh.
And another thing, when Penny was mayor, they opened up the motel.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when they were going to open up the motel, they put a ribbon across there.
Oh.
And Penny was the mayor, and she cut the ribbon.
An official duty for
Yes.
the mayor.
Yes. Oh, and the shamrock in the middle of the street.
Yes.
One time I was in Tucson with Renee, and we were doing something with the Forest Service, and we were up on the 3rd or something floor, and I'm looking out, and it's going to be St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah.
And I see in the middle of this cross of these streets where they cross, they have painted a shamrock. I am just amazed at that. That is so great. So I always wanted to paint a shamrock on the street, so I said to O'Leary, yeah, we can do that, Renee, and I'll put that on there.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're still painting it,
Yeah, it was there this year.
Renee is dead, and I don't do it. The gals who run the place now.
I want to know why it's a secret person besides you. Because they don't want to be known, or there's always a secret that picks the mayor.
It's always been secret to pick the mayor.
Oh, I see.
And the mayor has always been secret until he rides in the parade.
Yeah.
And
he or she.
And they give them the key.
Yeah.
We have this long golden key made of wood that Dan Rehurik made for us to be passed on.
Yeah.
And
so it was secret back when it was you and Penny and O'Leary?
Yes.
Oh, I see. So
and we just kept it a secret forward so people wonder who is.
Yeah. Well, see, it works. I'm going, now who is that? I want to get that out of you, but I won't do it.